Like if they're missing assignments, I encourage them, you need to go talk to the teacher. If you don't feel comfortable talking to them, please send them an email, that sort of thing. So working with kind of teaching some life lessons and building those grades up. Study table has also been beneficial. Tracy Welter does a fantastic job running it, and Pam Fanning has also been helping when Tracy's out. I really appreciate those ladies. And as far as our grading window and mailing report cards, I'm staying consistent with what the high school's doing. As far as also with middle school, so we are starting district-wide assessments, much the same what they do in the elementary. We're starting the STAR math assessment. So we're starting with that. We'll give that in the next 2 weeks. And then we'll also give a spring assessment. And then starting in the fall, we'll be doing both the STAR reading and the STAR math assessment. So I'm really excited about those. I think it's going to help us so we can find those gaps kids have, and also help staff members differentiate instruction. As far as Staff Friday, Steve and I work together on vertical meetings for our specialists. They're kind of ones that are left in the dust a little bit. And so we did this for art, music, library, and PE. And I think that they enjoyed being together, collaborating, kind of see what all levels across our building. We are a unique building being pre-K through 12. So it was great to get those folks together. Second window, as Steve said, of Mass did open, and our classrooms are starting to take those assessments. As far as my teacher of the month, that was Caitlin Bossy. She's a first-year teacher. She's doing a fantastic job. A couple other things, middle school dance, always an exciting time. This Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. We do have a junior high basketball game earlier in the day here. That's going to be played in the new gym. That'll be between 2 to 4-ish. And then the dance will be in the old gym. They'll also have, just like last time, you can pay to get into the dance, or you can pay for dance and dinner. And Heidi Donnelly always does a fantastic job putting that on. Girls junior high basketball, speech, debate, and drama are all in full swing now. It's fun if you haven't been able, like they talked about the speech and debate, but even the basketball, come out and support our kids. They work really hard. Lastly, so the Methodist daycare in Bozeman closed down. See, I've used daycare this time, Bobby. Daycare closed down. At first I said the church did. The church did not close down, just the daycare. Anyway, so Bobby and Jenna Lauber gave me the opportunity to go through the daycare. And there were a lot of treasures, including a crib that was like brand new. And I needed one more crib in the daycare. So Bobby and I packed my car tight with treasures, and then he went back with a truckload. And so we have tables, and there were so many great things. So just a huge thank you to Jana and Bobby, because we're so fortunate to have that opportunity to grab all of that stuff. So yeah, thank you. Any questions?
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our financial report with Elisa Meeks.
I can start with, the budgets. These are our budgeted funds versus where we are at currently with our expenditures, showing the budget remaining, the budget expended, just to give you a broad overview of where we are at. I don't have a lot of specific details other than I've been diving into the general funds to verify what we have budgeted for our retiree incentives and our retirement fund for the retirement piece that will need to come out of that, for specifically for having a staff member retire, and with our adult ed funds, looking into those to see where we're at for the upcoming season of running our adult ed classes. And right now we are looking good. Our percent of budget expended is pretty much where we were at last year for our general funds and most our other funds, except for tuition with the changes in tuition law, because we have paid out those big lump sum payments of out of district tuition to the other school districts. Okay, and we can switch over to the cash report. show you where we are sitting with our cash and our funds. This is the most current data that I have from the county. I'm not exactly sure why we are quite this far behind. November was the latest I received. But we did get our first big round of tax payments. And so if you see a big increase on any of the lines, that's because of the property taxes that were collected in the first round. Transportation and retirement, we are still waiting on our distributions from the other counties and from that go through the county treasurers to come to us. Last year they were paid in January, April, and June, and I just got a notice from Jefferson County that they are working on our distributions from their county, so I expect to see Gallatin and Broadwater soon too. We are also, I'm waiting on our cash requests for some of our big grants like IDEA and Title that hit Fund 115. So the decrease in that fund is just from the salaries that have been paid out of there. Cash requests will catch up once I get those. Any questions on where we're at with these two slides? Just to remind everybody, we have 2 trustee positions coming open. Each is a 3-year term. It's very important that we have good board members, and this will be on our May 2026 ballot, but the filing is open right now and it closes February 9th. And we are trying to get the word out through local newspapers and on our school website, other places such as that. If anybody wants to run for the school board, they need to pick up a declaration of intent and oath of candidacy form. They pick that up from me in the district office. And a candidate must be registered to vote at the time the oath is filed, at least 18 years old, a resident of the school district, a resident of the state and county, and a U.S. citizen. We did have 1 person file already, so that's good. But with 2 positions open, we will take many more. As Rhonda had mentioned, the Innovative Education Tax Donation Portal opens again tomorrow, and we did receive 3 donations, so I'm very happy about that. Plan to hurry up and get those in. And then I need to let the school board know that we are up against another deadline for our levies, because they've changed the dates on the election notices and when things need to be done. This year we put out our trustee resolution calling for an election in November, which is a lot earlier than we normally do it. And in those resolutions, we did say that we are planning to run a levy for our general funds and for high school technology. But if you decide to amend that and make any changes to which levies we are running or to not run any levies, we need to make that decision at the February board meeting, because we've got a deadline of February 24th to get an amendment into the county. With Marie reducing her hours as payroll clerk, she's been great still at coming in a couple of hours every morning, 4 days a week, and helping me out with payroll, and we've been able to keep it going. But I am noticing that I need additional help. There's just too much, Paula, and I have a lot going on. We could really use somebody else, so we're looking at posting another position for additional part-time help in the business office. That is all I have for you at this time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. How much additional help do you think you'd need? Could you quantify it in hours, or is it more of a particular area of help?
I mean, total, with having Marie in the office, it worked out to about 32 hours a week. So if I can get that to equal out between her and somebody else, that would be great.
And she's at
half of that.
She's doing
approximately
about
8
10
right
hours,
now?
Yeah, 8 to 10 hours,
Okay,
yeah. So,
all right.
yeah, we'll have to get into the nuts and bolts of it and see what we can find out. One of the substitutes that we had hired recently happens to have a lot of payroll experience, and so I had asked her if she'd be willing to sub in the office and help me out with a few things. So she did come in today. Today was her first day doing that, and I just kind of gave her an overview of what I'm doing and had her work on updating some contracts for me. She's coming back later this week to help me with W-2s, because I'll need to get all those printed and stuffed into envelopes and that sort of thing. So,
That's good.
yeah, I asked her if she might be interested in more work. She indicated she is. Could be a good thing to pursue.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, and I think you did a great job of explaining it, Elisa. This is not increasing any cost or any additional hours. It's Marie has cut way back. So this would be just looking at part-time to fill in what Marie has cut back on. So it's not an add-on of extra expense to our budget.
Exactly.
Any other questions for Elisa? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to new business. First, we have a recommendation to approve claim for reimbursement of individual transportation contracts, TR5s.
So these are the reports, start with the TR5 one, that we need to submit to the county superintendent of all the individual transportation contracts. Is there another way to rotate that?
Not, they probably do. You show names in them.
Yeah.
Probably.
We can scroll the other way.
Go that way?
Yeah.
Which
I'll move to approve claim for reimbursement for individual transportation.
Is it right?
TR5.
Which way is right? Down. Down, okay, thank you. All right.
And there's more.
Yeah. This shows is not submitted because it's dependent on the other two transportation contracts that we will approve later on the agenda. Once those are done, this whole report can be submitted to the county superintendent, and then we can pay out the first semester round of the individual transportation contract amount to families.
Great. Brooke made a motion. Does someone have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Next, we have a recommendation to approve claim for reimbursement of bus routes TR6.
No, there's this one shouldn't.
I mean, it's in the packet though, so I don't know.
It's
Not made in there.
the,
We should take it out then.
we had always posted these
Mhm.
before with people's names on them. That's the only identifying characteristic.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, I don't know.
I'll move to approve claims for reimbursement for bus routes TR6s.
A second. Any more discussion?
Pick one.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Great, motion carries. Next we have a recommendation to approve bus route 5.
We did have to do an additional bus route because we have one student who has transportation needs listed in their IEP. I don't know that we,
I'll move to approve bus route 5.
Second.
What
I
does
wanna
that
know a little bit
look
more about
like?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, what does that look like?
So want me to explain it?
yeah,
Okay, so this is a route for a student that has transportation written into their IEP. Under IDEA, we need to provide transportation. And so so our bus driver drops all students off, and then she goes back out and grabs the student. And the student attends right now half day.
Do we need to have that bus route in the packet to approve it? Cause normally we have like the little map of it.
Or give it to us separate to look at or anything. I mean,
if you want, I can throw it in there real quick.
Or do we just even know mileage? I mean, that's really all you.
And what they're doing is, I know,
They left the kids out there.
yeah, you would.
Because it's a
Yeah.
single.
It's,
Right.
Legally, we have to transport.
and what we're going to try right now, we're using a regular bus, but hopefully they're getting the modifications made to one of the small white buses. They have to do certain things to it in order to make it so it can be an actual route bus. And so that'll be more cost efficient, and I know they're in the process of that right now. So,
In terms of where that cost comes from, is that from our general fund?
No,
No,
that is from the
transportation.
transportation funds,
Okay,
and it is a 13-mile route.
And by getting approval on the route, we get reimbursement for that as well.
Yes.
okay. And we already had a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion?
Could you remind me who seconded?
Josh.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Next, we have a recommendation to approve individual transportation contracts.
And we have just 2 of those. Pass them around.
If there's discussion going on, I'm not hearing anything.
There's
No,
none,
no.
we're just passing it around to look at it. There's no conversation.
Make
Okay.
a recommendation to approve individual transportation contracts.
Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next we have a recommendation to approve Kathy Fells's retirement incentive application with projected 40 years at $30,000 pending TRS verification.
I'll make a motion to approve Kathy Fels's retirement incentive application with projected 40 years at $30,000. I'll second.
Any more discussion?
Hesitantly.
Thank you, Kathy.
Very well. Great.
I appreciate it. You'll be missed.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Yeah, we need to have one big party.
Yeah.
Kathy's cooking.
We're supporting a fish fry when we get back from Alaska, so we'll send out some invites.
Oh,
So,
enjoy your time.
we're waiting for Casey to be home from London, so we should be there. Bruce is retiring.
Oh, that's
awesome.
Great.
Timing.
Exciting for your
That's
family.
What'd you say? He's the door.
Next, we have a recommendation to approve attachment A, coaches advisor student employee list.
I'll move to approve attachment A, coaches, advisors, and student employee list.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a recommendation to approve surplus list, attachment B.
Which fun stuff on there?
Looks like some fun stuff on there.
I'll move to approve the surplus list.
I'll second.
Attachment B.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a recommendation to approve out-of-state travel for jazz band / choir to Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival in Moscow, Idaho, April 22nd through 25th, 2026.
So Mr. Barrett had planned on being here to talk about this, and unfortunately he got sick. And since I've been working with him developing the budget and talking about this and,
You'll
other
show up
things
passion.
well, there's that and I'm going on the trips. Sharing all the info about this. This, the Lionel Hampton Jazz Band Festival and Competition takes place at the University of Idaho, and this is the closest competitive festival for our students to attend. Most of the festivals around here are just ones where the students go and play. They're not a competition. This is a little more in depth. And Mr. Barrett had looked it up. He really wants to use this as an opportunity to represent the school in a competitive musical aspect, and has his groups fundraising in order to attend this. So there would be 18 students going plus Mr. Barrett and myself. Registration fees are $300. He did find an Airbnb that has a split duplex, so there's an upper level and a lower level, and you can only access them from the outside. So we could have one for girls, one for boys, and it saves on cost for the lodging. Total cost for 3 nights would be $2,209 for that. And then he'd estimated food costs at about $45 per day because there's kitchens in the units, so we can bring food, cook meals, save a little money that way. We're looking at possibly using the school vans with Mr. Barrett and myself driving. Fuel cost somewhere between $800 and $900. So you're looking at around $6,000 for the whole trip. Last year, the jazz band students did a jazz dance as a fundraiser, and that was kind of a last minute. The students had been working on the music for a long time where they came and played, but as far as getting it advertised and everything, that was kind of limited, and they still raised $1,750 just in that one night. So they're looking at doing some events like that. With more publication, putting out lots of word, seeing if we can make that into a bigger event and doing other things. And then families will be asked to contribute to the food costs and such for anything that we're short. But
Great. I know when Manhattan Christian travels, they do a lot of the Airbnbs for their basketball or sports teams, and they'll have the parents make some meals. So like some freezer lasagnas or whatever, and then you guys can take that. So you don't have to do all the cooking for dinner and all the things too. That might be an option.
Yeah.
So is
Makes
the
sense.
plan to have it be fully fundraised, or is the plan, are you asking the district to cover a certain amount of it, or can you break that down at all for us, please?
So the initial plan was to strictly do it through fundraising and family costs, but we have advanced opportunity money, and the purpose of the advanced opportunity grant is to cover what we would normally go out to families and ask for. So if that were approved by the board, we could supplement with some funds from our advanced opportunity grant.
How much would that be?
So right now we have broken down the budget of the $22,000 that we got for advanced opportunities, and there's about $8,000 that's unspoken for.
Perfect.
So
Did you spend the money from the elementary school? Are you taking middle school students on this?
I believe it's mostly high school students.
Because I know there's 8,000 in the elementary and there's 23,000
in the high school.
In the high
Yeah,
school.
it was 22,000
50 or something.
and a little bit. Yeah, in the high school we had 8,600, I believe, in the elementary. So far, we've spent 3,000 of the elementary funds, 3,000 something on the book fair, and so we still have another 4,000 left. And then in the high school, we have planned on using the advanced opportunity funds for our MTDA classes and for the parents' amount that they usually pay for dual enrollment testing. So those are the big bulk items. We also are using it for FCCLA registration for state and nationals. Just state at this point.
Just state this year, I don't think I'm gonna have any kids qualify for nationals.
Right. And then a little bit went towards just MKey's business classes. They had some books that,
We did a field trip to
And-
HRDC.
yeah, there was a CTE field trip. Anyway, it's really nice that we're seeing all these extra ways of using the funds.
Awesome.
I'll make a recommendation to approve out-of-state travel for jazz band choir to Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival in Moscow, Idaho, April 22nd through 25th, 2026.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Also, just for the record, the jazz band was amazing at their concert recently.
They were.
They were really
I'm supposed
impressive.
to see how they
Yeah,
compete.
good for
They were
them.
really good.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
good on them.
That's, one kudos for the jazz band too. This is students that are coming in before school. This
This
isn't an
is true.
in-school class. These students are giving up time before school
Mm.
to have a jazz band, which I
Oh,
think
wow.
makes it even
Good.
more impressive. It's not built into their school day. They're showing up early.
And
to
thanks
have
to
a jazz.
Mr. Barrett. Both,
Yeah,
Yes.
both
Mr.
groups, both
Barrett
sides
is
of
not
that. That's
being
awesome.
paid. So he's not being paid for the time he's spent getting this group up and running and meeting with them twice a week, early in the morning. So we need to revisit that. when we
Kudos to everyone involved.
Salary budgets.
Mhm. Agreed. Okay, discussion regarding possible purchase of gym bleacher replacements.
Yeah, I can speak on this for a minute. This is really just to bring it to the board's attention and give you, it's not in the packet. So because this is so preliminary, right now, we have bleachers. It started out that we had bleachers where they're old enough that we can't get the replacement pieces for the broken bleachers. And so eventually the Wolves, that will go away. We can't get any of that any longer. And initially, the admin team, we talked about it and thought, let's limp along for a while because bleachers replacement is really expensive. And then the motor went out on retracting and bringing the bleachers out. One motor went out, and that was costly. It was several $1,000s. And now it looks like some of the other motors aren't working properly. And the unfortunate thing that happened is with one working and the others not working, apparently the frame has become bent. We can't replace the bleachers pieces. So I was told the last time that we had to get it in or out, I think Mr. Schilf had to bring in a jack, and it took a lot of tugging and pulling to get the bleachers in and out. So I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. You know, it's one of those things, you know, initially we're thinking wait it out a little bit, try to limp along a little bit longer, but we're going to have to get new bleachers. And so Mike Bertrand, I did ask him just to get a feel so I could talk to the board and say, this is the kind of money we're going to be looking at. So because it is over $80,000, it will have to be bid. I checked with legal. We can go, MTSBA said we could go with Montana School Equipment because they're a consortium and they qualify for handling it as a bid. But in the preliminary, again, nothing binding, but Mike was finding companies that were looking at anywhere from $145,000 to $180,000. And that would be, I know it's a huge chunk of money. It would be to tear down the ones we have, dispose of those, bring in and install brand new ones. I mean, we can chip away for a while and try to replace a few more motors. We could put, you know, another probably 10, 15,000 in that. But again, we don't have any replacement parts for the bleachers. And, you know, we're halfway through the year. If this is something the board wants to, you know, look at later, I wish there was a better answer, but it looks like there's going to have to be a time when the district replaces those. The budget for that, there's a couple of options. If the board decided they want, so what the board would do is if you decided you wanted us to pursue it, we would have to officially go into a bid process with Montana School Equipment, have them give us some actual bid quotes. But we could pay for it out, we don't have that kind of pad in our general fund. We'd have to go with our interlocal fund, or we could have the option, which I'm not recommending, I'm just saying it is an option. We can run a voted building reserve levy. And we know that's just one more levy ask of the district, but it would be of our community, but it would be very specific, this amount of money to buy exactly this, new bleachers. Some schools do that, some just use their interlocal. So that's the facts I have. I'll answer anything else I can. Greg might have some more information about the condition of what we currently have, but I thought the board should discuss and decide if, by February, you're gonna have to decide if you want to run any levies. That's the drop cutoff date. We have to decide if we're for sure, or if we're gonna run levies. And that would be one of them, or we could do interlocal, or we could do nothing.
Bummer.
I don't have anything to add. Right now they're staying out until basketball season's over, and it's unfortunate because you can't fit as many kids in there. And when they play kickball, if you graduated from here, they're running up and down the stands. And I don't know. I don't know if Rhonda spoke to this because I stepped out for a second, but you also got to think about what was the time frame on those? That they were like 6 months out, and they take a full month to install or something. Like, just throwing that out there that this could potentially, like, we could get them by, say, September 1st, but they take a month to uninstall the old ones, and then the rest of the month to install the new ones. So there's your volleyball, half your volleyball season. So,
And I think that's a valid point, Greg, but I don't think we should, we don't have, an identified company. I don't know. It's possible there are companies that could do it faster, or there might be a company that would do it between seasons. I don't know. But we don't really have any kind of company nailed down on this at all.
that was just the original, that was a general idea.
Yeah.
Like with the bus, 6 months, you never know.
Right. And ideally, we'd love to get them installed in July.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's feasible.
I'm really good at tearing things apart.
Yeah, we're really letting you in with a sledgehammer, aren't you?
I work for free.
It's finger.
I don't mind the idea of trying to run a levy for it. What does anybody else think?
I think we can't pass a tech levy.
Well, I mean, it's worth a try, at least, put it on there, and if it doesn't go, then we can figure out something else, but I don't wanna just jump into our interlocal. We don't have to, we're gonna have to do it.
I did ask about the pros and cons of including it in a general fund levy versus running a holding reserve levy. And the feedback I got was there's not a terrible difference between the both, running one levy versus the other than when we get more money voted into our general funds, then other funds may become available to us, such as through the STARS Act. They added on a housing cost increment, part of your increased levy amount for people who live in high cost housing areas. I would need to look into the specifics of how much that would actually gain us.
So are you saying that if we levied for this repair, but levied it as a general fund levy, it might have additional benefits versus an actual levy just for
It's possible,
this upgrade?
but last year when we were also discussing levies, it came up that anything you ask for in a general fund levy, you could be required to levy that same amount or that same purpose again in the next year. The language regarding it isn't terribly clear. I would need to do some double checking on that to give you more specific information at the February board meeting.
Yes, Lisa, with the STARS money for housing, I believe that doesn't come with STARS. We'd have to levy for housing incentives. That would be something we are given additional levy amounts for housing. And I think in my mind, that was not something that was very realistic if we weren't even able to get a general levy passed for our operational. So I don't know, I think the board, before we do anything, we would just want the board to discuss and decide whether you want us to look at getting bids on this or waiting.
Well, the bleachers are stuck out, Greg said. I think we gotta start looking.
Well, it's an action item, so I think we're really looking for a board.
It sounds like we've hit the end of their life. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
They're at the end of their life, our current ones, yes.
And it's gonna be really hard to continue limping along next year
For sure.
with. So we're limping all along this year for sure, but the discussion is whether we keep limping along or whether we have you guys look at bids.
Mhm.
Well, one thing that I saw, and I'm kind of looking at it right now, is when we were looking at innovative education funds, other districts used it on parts of their building that had to do with, I don't know, and part of it was, I'm trying to read it here. Adaptive equipment with people with disabilities, something with bleachers, but also like thinking of how we can't use our gym for PE classes. I mean, I know it's a stretch, but I just read other things where people were using it on capital projects like this, so I mean,
It's a good thought, just to look
thinking
into.
of everything, I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that, but I'm just saying it's.
I would say start looking, start getting bids. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything. Give us
No, I
an
agree.
idea of what we're looking for.
Something that will-
That's kind of what I just wanted, some direction from the board. We can go ahead and get some actual amounts and timelines in, and then it can be the next one is discussing whether the board wants to go ahead and how, and what budget we would take it out of, or how we would fund it. Is that, if I've got the go ahead, then we'll go ahead and we're not locked into accepting it, but we can at least get that bid process going.
Yeah, I think get us some information.
Good idea. I agree with that.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Okay, thanks. Next, we have a recommendation to approve out-of-district application for second semester.
Just become aware that we can strike through that. Is that correct?
Okay. Next we'll move on to approval of claims. Ratification of January claims.
I'll make a motion to ratify January claims.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a motion for adjournment.
I'm sorry, I missed that on the claims. I was still working on the previous.
Lori,
Brooke made a motion, I seconded.
Thank you.
next we'll look for a motion for adjournment.
I'll move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
It's all, it was.
Aye.